Donald Trump woke up on Wednesday morning to let everybody know that he is definitely mentally unstable by calling for the imprisonment, not investigation, not, arrest even, just straight up put these people in prison. The mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois, both, of course, Democrats, Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker, respectively. But here is the very short and mentally unstable post that Donald Trump put on Truth Social. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. Wow. I didn't know that the masked armed agents who, of course, have Black Hawk helicopters flying around, military vehicles, I didn't know those people needed protecting. And protection from what? Well, Trump didn't specify, but luckily, Kristi Noem, Ice Barbie, did tell us exactly what her big tough ICE agents need protection from, which is, quote, residents advocating for violence against the American people and protesters who are victimizing people every day by the way that they're talking. So the big threat to these big tough ICE agents who have all the military tech and equipment they could imagine in Chicago right now, the big thing they need protection from is people talking. Okay, that's literally what Kristi Noem said. People talking. They're being victimized by people talking. Her exact words. So we have to go protect these big, tough, macho men who are so afraid to show their faces. We have to protect them from talking. Or not from each other, but people outside of ICE talking to them. Holy hell, if you don't stop that, you should go to jail, says the President of the United States, who is not in any way attempting to be a ruthless dictator. This is utter insanity. No other way to describe this. This is insanity. This is authoritarianism at its finest. You should not be allowed to practice your First Amendment rights. So we're throwing out the Constitution. So what Trump is doing is already unconstitutional. Courts have already told him he can't do it, what he's doing. And if you do not fall in line and if you do not turn in those who are talking, you yourself should be in prison. Is there any other point in world history that, comes to mind when you think about this? If you don't report people who the government doesn't like, then you yourself have to go to jail. I don't know. See, seems a little familiar, right? I mean, kind of feels like we've seen this show before, and Donald Trump, obviously not learning lessons from that, should understand that it didn't end very well for the people who were wanting everybody arrested, the people who were dictators. Their story didn't end quite so well. But, Trump's not necessarily a history buff. He's not even a buff on anything. But this is the country we live in now. This terrifying reality of armed federal agents, armed members of the military patrolling our streets across the country based on fake accusations of out-of-control crime. ICE does not need to be protected. And by the way, there is no legal obligation for the Chicago mayor or the Illinois governor to protect them. People need protection from ICE. Hell, the local police in Chicago need protection from ICE because ICE on multiple occasions has tear-gassed local police officers and firefighters. ICE doesn't need to be protected. We need to be protected from ICE. Whether you're a citizen or not, ICE is going to get you. That's what they have now become. They are arresting regular old U.S. citizens, a 70-year-old Army vet. I told that story over the weekend. Absolute, utter insanity that this is happening here. It's not a far-off threat. It's not hyperbole. It's not scare tactics, folks. It is happening here. And what are you doing about it, right? I think that's the big question. All these people who look back at history, oh, how could Germany allow this to happen? How could Mussolini rise to power? The answer is too few people doing anything about it, too few people sounding the alarms. We need more. We need more voices. We need more protesters. We need people in the streets making their voices heard. Because if not, I mean, even if that happens, let's be real here, it's going to get worse. They have plans to make it worse. Okay? There's no more speculation about what they want to do. It's been leaked. They want to send the actual military out here. Hegseth said in an interview with Peter Doocy this week that people enlisting in the military today are more likely to serve in the Midwest than the Middle East. It's here. It's happening. And we have to do something about it. Eric Trump went on News Nation with host Chris Cuomo this week to promote his new book where he whines and cries for God knows how many pages about how victimized his poor family has been. But during his interview with Chris Cuomo, Eric Trump went completely 100% insane. Like absolutely had a psychotic meltdown when Chris Cuomo did the obvious and pointed out the fact that you're sitting here crying in a book about the Biden administration targeting your family. How is that any different, what you're alleging, than what your dad is literally doing right now? Like, he pointed out, Cuomo, to his credit, pointed out the massive hypocrisy of everything the Trump family has said and done, and Eric Trump lost it. He lost his ability to think like a rational human being. He completely lost any capacity to even try to tell the truth. And here is how he responded. Now, I'm going to read you most of this. I don't think I can get it all out because he went on a 3-minute long rant about everything that he thinks has happened to his family without ever once taking responsibility for all of the horrible things the family's done. He started off by saying, let me start with that. The question from Cuomo was, do you think that it is fair to say it looks like the administration is going after its political opponents now and doing exactly what you say you oppose? And Eric Trump says, oh, that's what, Comey? Because, I mean, it seemed very clear to me in the congressional testimony. I don't know, just watching it, I certainly seem like he lied to me. Okay. I mean, I'm also wondering what an FBI director is doing taking memos from the FBI and leaking them to the New York Times. I mean, Chris, I'm a guy that hopes that the FBI director would be keeping planes from flying into buildings, keeping our country safe, did any planes fly into buildings when Comey was FBI director? Did I miss that? Did I sleep in that day and just not get that memo? Because it kind of seems like if that's the job of the FBI director, then Comey did a good job, right? I mean, but anyway. Chris, I'm a guy that hopes the FBI director would be keeping planes from flying into buildings, keeping our country safe, keeping the Western way of life safe. Okay, we're dabbling in some racism here. Instead, this guy is, communicating every single day with the New York Times. I mean, that I'd hope a lot better. Okay. Wow. Like, he's already having some misfiring here, folks. Trust me, this is not me stuttering. This is me not being able to make sense of the sentences. And that's just the first paragraph. But I find it so ironic that you're literally one that's pushing back on the weaponization of government when the very same people that were coming after us, went after your brother like hounds. I mean, they did everything they could to destroy his governorship. They did everything that they could to destroy his life. They did everything they could to destroy you. So, did you pick up on this? It's not what he's talking about with Cuomo. No. He said, I find it so ironic that you're literally one that's pushing back on the weaponization of government. So Eric Trump is admitting his dad is abusing his power by weaponizing the federal government. You're not allowed to do that. And this dumb frickin' guy admitted it. He admitted it on live TV. My dad is weaponizing the federal government to go after his political enemies. Thank you, Eric. I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite you in the ass when you try to prosecute these people. Well, not you, obviously. You're not smart enough. Neither are the lawyers at the DOJ, let's be honest. But let's continue. You've been on the receiving end of the very same people that I've been on the receiving end of. Okay, it's definite accidental double entendre there, right? And so to play coy with me as if this isn't happening in the United States of America just seems ironic and foolish given what you've been through, more so than anybody, worse than anybody. Then Eric Trump continues. Hey, did we raid Joe Biden's home? Did we? Did we try and bankrupt Biden? First of all, Biden's home did get raided during the Biden administration. They found documents, remember? And he gave them back, which is all he needed to do. They did go to Biden's home. Like, that is a thing that happened, you idiot. Did we try and bankrupt him? Did they come after us? Did we weaponize every AG and DA against Biden? Do we do that against Hunter Biden, who had a laptop from hell, pictures of cocaine, illicit drug use, prostitution? Did we do that? Yes! Yes, you did! You absolute dumb f***. You did that! The reason we know about that is because your family did it! Oh my God! Eric Trump is not just the dumbest person in the Trump family. He might literally be the dumbest person on planet Earth. He might actually be. Oh my God. Like, I'm in shock at how stupid this guy is. And, as per usual, it gets dumber. Did we make up a dirty dossier about Biden? Biden had nothing to do with the Steele dossier. That was years before Biden even decided to run for president. He had retired at that time. And it was the conservative paper that initially started the Steele dossier. They're the ones who made the initial payment. Did we try and destroy Biden's marriage? Nobody tried to destroy your marriage, but also, yeah, you did. During the Biden administration, conservative talkers, and of course Donald Trump himself, they all said Dr. Jill Biden is the one allowing this to happen. She should be ashamed, letting her mentally, cognitive declining husband do. Like, you did try to, attack the marriage. You did. You did. Biden never did that to your dad and his third wife that he cheated on with an adult film star among probably many, 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 many other people. Was any of that true? Again, yeah, it was. I mean, did we make up stories that Biden had Secret Service in the basement of his home communicating with the Kremlin and Russia? Nobody made that. That's not even a story that it happened. Did we strip Biden off the ballot of multiple states? Your dad tried to submit fake electors so that Biden couldn't win the election. Did we take Biden off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook? Biden didn't do that, asshole. The terms of service of those websites and apps were completely clear. They made the decision. Did we put Biden in a courtroom every single day? No, and neither was your father in a courtroom every single day. But your dad also broke the law. He is a convicted felon. He was given multiple opportunities to do the right thing, make this go away, and he refused to do it. Instead, had his lawyers lie to federal investigators. I could go on and on. This is just madness. This little idiot Trump child just is mind-blowingly stupid and hypocritical. And he's just as big of a liar as his father. This is just complete, total insanity. That kid needs to be in a mental institution. If he genuinely believes all of these things happened this way, then he is not sane enough to be among the general public. He is a danger. He is a threat to others and or himself. I don't know. That's for the experts to determine. But something is deeply wrong with this child. And yes, I'm calling him a child because he has the mentality of a child. And of course, he looks like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead, and Beavis is a child. But there's something wrong with Eric Trump, and let's just leave it at that. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell this week announced that he is completely broke. But don't worry, he's got a plan. He's going to get money by going door to door and begging random citizens, please give me money. Now, there's more to it than just that, right? The reason Mike Lindell is in desperate need of money is not just because his pillow business, I don't even know if it still exists anymore, but it's clearly not doing well. Stories about that have popped up, roughly 1 to 2 times per year for the last several years. MyPillow is hemorrhaging money. Mike Lindell has admitted that. He's admitted he's lost his personal fortune. But the reason he's so desperate for cash right now is because last month, in a little noticed move, a judge went ahead and issued summary judgment against him in the Smartmatic defamation lawsuit that was filed against him, $1.5 billion. And in the summary judgment, the judge went ahead and determined that Mike Lindell did, in fact, defame Smartmatic at least 51 documented times. So his, I guess, even though it's civil court, we would call it guilt, his guilt has already been determined. All that's left now is for it to go to trial, and they determine the amount he has to pay them. But before that can happen, he has the ability, but not the cash, to appeal it. So here is what Mike Lindell told his audience this week. This was the biggie. This was the $1.5 billion against MyPillow and Mike Lindell. What this means, everybody, is if I don't appeal this would go to the jury trial. I don't know, 2 years from now, but they're saying if I don't appeal, it's saying, yep, I'm guilty because I didn't appeal. And all the jury would then decide, did Mike do this maliciously and how much money would I owe? This is going to get appealed. I don't have the funds to do it. Now, we have 22 more days to raise this money for this appeal. I believe it's going to cost like $300,000. I'm sitting here without 300 cents, but I'll tell you what, this will get appealed. I don't care if I have to go door to door to raise the money. Now, I actually want to address not necessarily the fact that you're broke and haha, that's funny, but what I want to address is the fact that you're like, this will go to trial in a year, maybe 2 years. This defamation began, according to the summary judgment, in 2020. It's 2025 right now, folks. I don't know if everybody realized that. It's already been 5 years. Are we really going to sit here for another 1 to 2 years, 7 years total, before we get a resolution to this? That's crazy. I have never heard of that happening, especially not in a defamation lawsuit. Mike Lindell is not sitting in an office of power where they have to wait until he leaves office to go forward with trial, like Trump was. So this is unprecedented. 7 years, potentially, between filing the lawsuit and going to trial. Now, granted, it's coming from Mike Lindell, so take it with a grain of salt. Honestly, in most instances like this, when a summary judgment is handed down, you're probably looking at a month or 2 for the trial, not a year or 2. But even still, 5 years is way longer than I have ever seen any defamation lawsuit wait. Never seen that before. In 21 years of working in the legal profession, I have never seen that once. So that alone pisses me the F off. 2, you're the one who did this, bud. I have a soft spot, I guess, for Mike Lindell. Because, he is just so misguided and so dumb about the issue of voting machines. But he genuinely believes it. He thinks this happened, in spite of the fact that he's all the time come up with evidence that it literally didn't happen. He still believes it. So I do think there's something wrong with him. Personally, I think there's something wrong. So I do have sympathy for that. I really do. And I shouldn't probably, but I feel bad for the guy. I don't feel bad that he lost all his money. I don't feel bad that he's going to lose this lawsuit, but I don't know. I got a soft spot for the guy. Maybe it's because he his voice kind of sounds like my father-in-law, who's a very nice, wonderful dude. And so I don't know, but whatever it is, Lindell, you did this to yourself. You could have just shut up and done nothing. You could have done that. You could have not launched Lindell TV and Frank's speech. Is that even still a thing? But you thought this would be your next step, your next career, and it backfired on you tremendously. You went all in on MAGA. And like so many others before you, it cost you everything. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has come up with a very simple yet brilliant way to really get under the skin of MAGA men. And, as she said in a video posted to Instagram this week, laugh at them. Laugh at them. And to give you a little bit broader context of this, she was initially talking about Stephen Miller, and she referred to him as being 4'10", and that's what, causes this toxic masculinity or insecure masculinity. And she then kind of mentioned, this kind of spreads throughout all these MAGA guys. They're very insecure in their masculinity. So the way to approach it is to laugh at them, to mock them. And for the record, she's 100% right. And you know how we know she's right? Think back a year ago, right? This time last year, what was MAGA whining and crying about every day? The Democrats called us weird. Oh, they think we're weird. That one little word, weird, got under their skin. And I mean, we had Trump meltdowns about it. The media was talking about it. They're weird. They're weird. One little insult that wasn't even that, it wasn't harsh at all, but it worked. And now AOC is trying to revive a version of that, come up with your own word to call them, but make fun of them, mock them, because they are so insecure they can't take it. And another way I know they can't take it is because Laura Ingraham, perhaps drunk Laura Ingraham, when you see this clip, you'll know what I mean, decided to bring on Stephen Miller to actually respond to AOC's Instagram video this week. And she made Stephen Miller watch it on live TV. Here it is.
Stephen, AOC is you're her favorite target, apparently, on Instagram. Check this out.
He looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10". And he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taken that anger out at any other population possible. Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them.
Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. I wish I had a hoodie on. I mean, are we trying to play sorority sister as elected official? I don't know. I was at a sorority over the weekend over in Texas. I felt like I was back at the sorority house, except they had more sense. Stephen, quick response.
Well, we knew that her brain didn't work. Now we know their eyes don't work. So I mean, she is a mess, right? What a train wreck. What a train wreck.
I think you should just get a hoodie. You should just wear a hoodie from now on and respond to her in a hoodie. It should be hoodie to hoodie. Stephen,
yes,
thank you so much.
Wow, Stephen, you sure put her in her place. Like, we know they can't see. Their eyes don't work. Ha ha, right? You're so funny. Go back to your, crypt and sleep until midnight. You creepy vampire looking anyway. What a train wreck. What a train wreck, he says. And then Laura Ingraham's like, listen, I was with my sorority sisters this past week. I was in Texas. And then I'm not in Texas now. Like, what the hell was going on with Laura Ingraham? She was slurring horribly, and it's like, yeah, okay, if you were hanging out with your college friends over the weekend, 48 hours ago, maybe you had a little too much and it hasn't worn off yet. But you'd have a hard time convincing me that Laura Ingraham was sober during that segment. Like, I hope she didn't drive herself home. But these people are so pathetic. They're so weird. You devoted a segment of your show. You pulled the clip. You aired the clip. Why? to amplify her message? I mean, AOC responded on social media. She said, "I can't believe they aired this and made him listen to it live. I am crying." She's laughing all the way. You guys have your little nervous laughter with your horrible jokes like, "She's a train wreck, she's a train wreck. Oh, their eyes don't work. I'm tall, damn it. Their eyes don't work." Like, you're proving her point, you idiot. And I love every second of it. This is how you get them. Get under their skin with the most innocuous little insult you can come up with, and you'll win every time. The official Republican Party of the state of Oregon, through their official Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts, posted several photos this weekend to justify Donald Trump's decision to send in the National Guard to, get all the violence out of the city that Trump said has both been burned to the ground and taken over by Antifa. So, if you're going to take over a city, don't burn it to the ground first, because then there's nothing to take over. But, lies don't matter in this issue, right? Let's not worry about the facts of what's happening, because Portland is not under siege by Antifa or violent protesters. They're under siege by Donald Trump's administration. But in order to justify it, the Oregon GOP tweeted out and put on Facebook and Instagram a series of photos showing how bad the city is. Police officers in riot gear, violence, fires everywhere. So you would think, holy hell, okay, maybe we do need the National Guard. But it turns out that those pictures weren't from this year. In fact, they weren't even from this decade. In fact, some of them are almost 20 years old. Oh, and by the way, they're not even from Portland. And actually, the photos, they're not even from things that happened in the United States. They're actually all from South America. And do you know how you can tell? Even without the fact checkers having to look for the images, reverse image search, you can tell because on the police shield, it doesn't say police, it says policia, right? And American cops don't have Spanish words on their riot shields. So not only did they pull these stock photos that are from Brazil in 2008 and 2017, respectively, they didn't even bother to edit them. And when they were confronted about this on social media by The Guardian, the official Oregon GOP Twitter account responded and said, "We're not reporters, just bad memers." We were making a meme, right? We weren't trying to show violence in Portland, which is exactly what you said in your original post. It said, President Trump deploys 300 California National Guard troops to Portland, and then you showed the pictures of streets on fire. But it wasn't America. It wasn't this year. It wasn't even this decade. It wasn't even this continent. And you would have known that, and you did know that, because the police shield said policia. Y'all are just that dumb. Or you think your followers are that dumb and wouldn't notice. But then after they deleted the post because The Guardian called them out and they're like, well, we're just bad memers. The Oregon GOP released an official statement saying this. The graphic was created by one of our volunteers using stock photos, which, unbeknownst to us, included foreign imagery. The post was promptly removed once the misrepresentation was identified. Included foreign imagery. No, they didn't include foreign imagery. They were all foreign imagery. And how are you letting a, quote, volunteer run your official Twitter account, right? That seems a little suspicious. But all you did was delete it. You didn't issue a correction. You didn't post hey, actually, turns out Portland's not on fire, which we know because we're there, Sure. Yeah, totally plausible, totally believable. Fox News, of course, has been caught doing this recently, showing footage of protests or riots from years past as if they're happening right now to try to dupe people into falling in line with Donald Trump's Gestapo takeover of American cities. None of it's happening. None of these crime waves that they say are happening are happening. None of it. Most of the cities where Donald Trump has deployed troops to, whether it be National Guard, ICE, ATF, FBI, regular Homeland Security officers, Customs and Border Patrol, most of them have had actually declining crime rates in recent years. They're getting better while Trump pretends they're getting worse. And he's aided in his effort to take over the country with military by these right-wing media outlets and these state Republican parties. They are cheering it on. They're lying to you, spreading more propaganda, using literal fake imagery to convince you to fall in line with dictator Trump.